How many times have you bought a game, played it for a couple of hours, and then it just sat in your library, collecting digital dust? We all have a massive list of games we've started, but never actually finished. And with so many new titles dropping every month, it's hard to decide which single-player game is actually worth your time. But don't worry, because today, I've got you covered. Here are 15 single-player games that are actually worth finishing. Let's get into the video. Days Gone is one of the best games I've ever played. While it starts slow, the story is an emotional roller coaster that has me completely invested in the characters. I loved Deacon's character development, and his dialogue and interactions were amusing. He's definitely how we'd all be in a post-apocalyptic situation. Some parts of the story were predictable, but some twists and turns genuinely surprised me. The world is a joy to explore. I loved customizing my drifter bike and just riding around the open world looking for collectibles and supplies and admiring the scenery. The game is also pretty well optimized for PC. I only ran into a few bugs and glitches, but nothing that broke the game. However, I wasn't a fan of the weapon and tool selection wheel. It was prolonged and inconvenient, and sometimes Deacon wouldn't even equip the item after I selected it. As you can imagine, that's a huge problem when you're facing a horde of 500 freakers. Despite a few minor issues, it has quickly become one of my favorite games, and I really hope we see a sequel someday. If somehow you hadn't played Assassin's Creed Odyssey, despite it being out for years, then let me tell you, in my opinion, it is the peak of the Assassin's Creed series. The map and landscapes are stunning and still hold up after all these years. The game is packed with references to Greek mythology and philosophy with countless Easter eggs to discover. Cassandra as a protagonist is the absolute highlight. She's definitely the better choice for both voice acting and charisma. The other characters are memorable too, and you'll quickly find yourself rooting for them. And don't forget the Discovery Tour mode, which is fantastic for learning about ancient Greece from real historians. Now sure, it has some typical Ubisoft issues. The repetition of forts and enemies always scaling to your level can be a bit much, but you will still feel like a total god. It's a long one if you want to do everything, as I have, and I'd say only some of the choices you make are truly meaningful. But all of that said, this game really is an odyssey. I highly recommend visiting Athens in the game and reading up on Greek mythology while you play. It's truly something else to see their interpretation of historical sites like the Parthenon in all its glory, and compare it to how it stands today. With over 250 hours logged and 100% completion across my consoles, Persona 5 Royal is without a doubt one of the greatest games I've ever played. This game has hundreds of hours of replayability. It's built on the idea that every choice you make, no matter how small, adds up to shape your character. The music in this game is incredible. Seriously, I've found myself listening to it on repeat while I work, go to school, or just hang out at home. I could listen to it for hours and never get tired of it. The gameplay and story are a perfect match. As an RPG, it just feels right. Every new chapter introduces new characters who give you new statuses and combos. This not only helps you progress, but also genuinely develops the characters and pushes the story forward. The plot is so compelling, I actually found myself audibly gasping at some of the twists. Persona 5 Royal is a complete hit and a must-play for me. I would play this game over and over and still find things I missed. It's absolutely worth a try. First off, let me just say, Yakuza 0. This entire saga deserves a television series. The sheer intelligence in how Yakuza 0 was made is just incredible. Going in, I had no idea I would be so completely blown away by the characters, the atmosphere, and the incredible storyline. It's a roller coaster of emotions, from the deep cinematic drama to moments that will make you laugh until you cry. I'm talking about the legendary beatdowns from the Great Dragon of Dojima, Kiryu, and the chaotic, dancing energy of the one and only Goro Majima. The game's chapters switch between these two protagonists, and they are both so fantastically charismatic that you'll be desperate to unravel their stories. As a total newcomer to the Yakuza universe, this game was the perfect entry point. It's a rare experience that's worth every single moment. And if you're a fan of classic Japanese martial arts films or a hardcore anime fan, you'll feel right at home. How do you even begin to talk about a game like Mass Effect? I don't feel like I have the words to give it the respect it deserves. This game is one of the very few that makes me feel a connection so deep I want to learn everything about its universe, its characters, its history, and everything. But what I find so incredible about Mass Effect is how much it makes you think. It's a game that grapples with deep philosophical questions about life, consciousness, and what it means to have free will. The characters feel so real, each with their own unique personality, their own struggles, and their own ambitions. It's not just a game, it's a work of art. I wish I could wipe my memory and experience it all again for the first time. If you enjoy sci-fi epics like Halo or Star Wars, or if you appreciate the deep characters of a game like Baldur's Gate 3, you need to play Mass Effect. The Legendary Edition is often on sale for around $5, and for that price, it's an absolute no-brainer. Give it a try, you won't regret it. After all the hours, all the adventures, all the life lessons, I wish I had the words to describe The Witcher 3, but I simply don't. It's absolutely the best game I've ever played. It's more than a game, it's a work of art that I'm so glad I got to experience. Every place feels alive. The characters are so well written that most of the time, I'd get completely lost in the conversations with them. When you look back on it all, every single quest, all the expansions, every place you visited, it feels like looking back at a great memory from the past. It's a feeling of nostalgia you rarely get from a game. When people say this game is big, it's hard to truly understand what that means. For some, it's the map size, or the number of quests, or even the length of the campaign. But for me, this game is big on what it achieved, the greatness of the story it told, the powerful impact of your choices, the feeling you get when you discover a new monster and have to quickly adapt, the experience of picking up a trail or sailing the cold oceans of Skellige all by yourself. So many memories, it's just too hard to explain with words. They're memories I'll always hold dear to my heart. Nier Automata is without a doubt a work of art. While it has its small flaws, it succeeds in its main purpose on an immeasurable scale. It stirs an indescribable mix of emotions and fills your mind with eternal thoughts. Not all of these feelings are good. Some will cause real existential dread and put you on a painful roller coaster, but you'll learn to appreciate it because it makes you feel so alive. Life is a mix of both, right? So is Nier. Be ready to cry, but also to smile. But my favorite thing about this game is that it acts as a mirror. It doesn't try to impress you with new, cool, or complex ideas. Instead, it takes the opposite approach and draws out feelings and thoughts that were already waiting inside you. The real Nier doesn't play out on the screen, it plays out in your mind. It's not the gameplay, the story, or even the fantastic music. It's the experience itself. I highly recommend you give it a try. It's a rare kind of game, and even if you don't love it, it will leave you with an unusual experience that you won't forget anytime soon. So I just beat Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and wow, I'm absolutely in love with it. The story was so immersive, it grabbed me from the very beginning and didn't let go. When the credits hit, I just sat there in silence, a little bit empty. And Henry? I never expected to get so attached to him, but he is just the most charming protagonist. If I have one minor criticism, it's that the romance system felt a little underdeveloped. I wish my choices had more of a meaningful impact on the story. I wasn't looking for a huge game-changing system, just a few more personal moments or sweet lines would have made a big difference. And once the main story was over, I found myself a little lost. That's why I'm begging for a DLC. I would gladly pay for an expansion that puts the focus back on Henry and Hans Kappen. This game has been stuck in my head since I finished it. I'm even going back to play the first one just to get another dose of this world. To the developers, please give us more DLC soon. I am so not ready to say goodbye. Baldur's Gate 3 isn't just a game. It's a genuine adventure that puts player freedom and respect first. What grabs you right away is this feeling of a living, breathing world where your decisions have real consequences. Want to burn down half a city over a stolen mug? Go for it. Or maybe you'd rather talk to animals and the dead to uncover a hidden secret. You can do that too. The plot is captivating from the very first minute, and the companions aren't just battle assistants. They are deeply written characters with their own traumas, ambitions, and humor. Honestly, talking to them is one of the main joys of the game. And while the game isn't afraid to be difficult, it always rewards ingenuity. You can fight a battle the normal way, or you can spend 20 minutes setting up 100 gunpowder barrels and blow them all up with a single candle. Larian Studios didn't just make a great RPG, they gave us an entire world we'll want to return to again and again. This is the gold standard of the genre, and you can feel the love that went into every single part of it. I just started playing Cyberpunk 2077, and I've gotta say, I love it. I actually love it so much, I went out and bought the physical disc for my PlayStation 5 just so I'd have a copy on my shelf. Now I know it had a rough start, kind of like a No Man's Sky situation, but after over 40 hours of gameplay, I haven't had a single crash or a single bug. It's clear this game has come a long way. The graphics are incredible. The world of Night City is a character in itself. The story is fantastic, and the characters feel as memorable as the ones from The Witcher 3. Honestly, I have zero major complaints. If I had to nitpick, I'd say I wish there was an option to switch between first and third-person perspectives. It would make melee and unarmed combat feel more intuitive and give you a better view of these surroundings. Plus, you could actually admire your character's outfits. But since the game is mostly about guns and close-quarters combat works well enough, this is really just a minor issue. Another big win for CD Projekt Red. Look, I know there are a ton of gaming channels out there, so if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, that means a lot to me. If you enjoyed it and want to see more content like this, consider hitting subscribe. It's the best way to support the channel and let me know you appreciate the effort. Alright, thanks for sticking with me. Now let's get into the last game on the list. I've got to say, Ghost of Tsushima is one of the best games I've played in a long time. It's a totally immersive experience, and the combat never got old. The different stances for each enemy type kept it fresh even late in the game. Fluidly switching between them to take on a group of enemies was so much fun and so rewarding. There were always different side quests and collectibles that weren't a waste of time. They actually improved your stats and often turned into fast travel points, so you never had to spend ages just getting from one place to another. But what truly stood out was the story. Jin's journey was incredibly touching. Whether it was the flashbacks of him sparring with his uncle as a child, or fighting alongside a mother seeking justice for her family, the narrative really pulls you in. They did an excellent job of not cluttering the game with too many forgettable characters. Instead, the focus is on a core few that you build a relationship with through their side missions. By the end, you really feel for these characters who have been with you from the very beginning. I'm so glad I decided to buy it. It was worth every penny. I probably put over 50 hours into it. I hope you will like it too. Thanks for watching. If you've struggled to find single-player games that keep you hooked until the end, hopefully, this list helps you pick your next great gaming journey. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more game recommendations and honest reviews. And drop a comment below with your favorite single-player game that you actually finished. I'd love to hear your picks. See you in the next video.